Hello everybody, welcome back to the JSJ Podcast with your hosts, Joshua, and Sam. Or I guess I should have put you in the middle, whatever. Okay, today we're doing, what's it called? Nintendo Game Console Ranking, because, I don't know, this is the thing. I'm gonna be honest, I wanted to do this one for a while. Like, ever since we came up with this, yeah. So, you guys, what's the introduce yourself for, I guess. Do we even
Well,
need to
I'm
do that?
Sam. This is our second episode. We'll be doing, like he said, ranking some Nintendo consoles on the tier list, including the best one, of course, the virtual one.
Of course. Yes.
And yeah, I've been excited for this one. I can't lie.
Yeah, no, it should be a fun time. I used to have an older podcast as well, and I think that we did this exact topic on my my old podcast, but I think that I was the person who was probably like the most invested in the topic, and I think that the others like didn't have like as strong of an opinion, but I know that you guys will definitely have strong opinions regarding this topic, so I'm really excited because this should give us like, you know, a lot to talk about. So yeah, no, it should be good.
Did Aiden
Yes, sir.
Did Aiden even play like Nintendo games?
He had definitely played some Nintendo games for sure, but I don't think that he had experience with a lot of the consoles that we were talking about, so he just kind of had to go off what he knew. So
Okay, fair enough.
yeah, no, it was hard, but I think that this one will be much better for sure.
I have like I have like a decent amount of experience with like most of these. Like I'm pretty...
Except the Virtual Boy for me, at least.
Yeah, that one I'm not too... I haven't played too much Game Boy Color either, so I probably won't be able to say that much for that one, but like...
I've played a decent amount of that.
The rest of them I've played like enough. I've played a lot of those, so we'll be okay.
For a lot of these consoles, I'm really familiar with their library more so than I am with the consoles themselves. I only like have actually owned like a real handful of Nintendo consoles, but thanks to like the virtual console and that type of thing, I've been able to play a lot of the games and stuff like that. So you guys might have to fill me in on some of the hardware stuff. But I have at least played all of these, like most of the consoles.
I would say it's valid. I mean, I don't have like an original Game Boy, but like I've played... Because unlike the Super Nintendo and like the GameCube, they have like things you can play those on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Game Boy player.
Yeah, the Game Boy player. So like I've done that.
Hella expensive now, by the way, for the GameCube. If you're gonna get one of those, you gotta really love it.
Dude, it was bad. I don't want to even talk about how much it cost me when I got it. And that was like
it's cool
that was a couple
to
years
see,
ago.
Yeah, it's cool to see Game Boy games on your big screen TV, but it comes with the price, probably as much as a low tier TV would cost.
You can buy
You know
3
what?
Game Boys for the price of
Dude,
like one of those things.
You're not even wrong. It's actually nuts. I actually bought a TV like not that long ago. Like maybe like sometime during the summer, right? I bought a big ass flat screen.
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure it cost me less money than the Game Boy player, and it was
Holy
like
fuck.
And dude, it's like 4K, I think, or maybe it's not 4K the TV, but it's like it's like an HD flat screen.
It's a modern TV.
Yeah, it's a modern
like,
TV.
Goddamn, man.
Like I'm like, bro, like
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Anything GameCube related is like that these days. I don't know why. There's just I guess it's just reached a point where it's finally kind of like an antique. Like it's pretty old, so.
Yes, sir.
It's an enigma, but like even then, like it's still more expensive than N64.
That's
like,
nuts, right?
Yeah.
GameCube just has that kind of like.
It's that console.
It's in that category where it's just like it's gold.
Okay, we're getting ahead of ourselves.
I'm glazing the GameCube.
I'm gonna say this right now, though. I don't think we should factor in like prices for like retro games as like.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm taking just like a standstill look at the console and what it offers.
Yeah.
Because like that's not like I don't think that's fair, really. I don't think any game should be judged honestly in the merit of how much it costs to buy it like used.
Yeah, used especially is a ridiculous
like,
ask.
because it's like, okay, if like, because I know there's like NES games that are like $1,000, and it's like I'm not gonna like judge that game off of the fact that it's rare. Like if the game is good or not is like what I would say is worth, judging it for. Yeah.
Fair enough.
So we have the okay. I'm gonna show the viewers now the tier list, so I can just fade it in while editing. Lol. So we have bad, okay, good, great, and best. Are we cool with these ones as ranking?
I'm okay with that actually.
Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah.
It kind of like makes more sense than just like the letters.
Okay.
Although like how about this? Is like S A B C D? I could always like add them in. Like I could do this.
Yeah, I mean like
do you want
best,
to do this?
great, and good are kind of like weird opinionated versions of A, S, B. We'll put the letters in just for reference.
I'll do this.
We're getting techie with this one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So how do we want to start? Where do we want to start with? The oldest? Do we want to start with the NES or like the most?
We could work our way up.
Crappiest, the best.
Well, then that's just opinions.
Or I don't know.
Yeah, that could get contentious. I say let's like pick something to start with, and I feel like
from
going
the bottom to the top.
Bottom to the top.
Like
okay.
Ear wise. So the NES, guys, where it all started.
NES.
What do we think about the NES?
It saved the gaming industry, if you look at it that way.
People do commonly say that.
People do say that.
I think
Atari was tanking and everything. It was crashing, and then Nintendo came in.
Nintendo came in clutch.
To be honest, I think it's like okay. It's like C tier.
I'm
You
honestly
think it's C tier.
I'm kind of in a similar boat.
I would say B, guys.
I don't know. It's just like I'll hear you on this, but in my opinion, it's like okay.
I think it's just one of those consoles where you can just put in a classic and enjoy yourself so easily, and like so many iconic like different kind of games came out on that. Like Mario, I meant franchises like Zelda, Mario, Metroid, all of them. It all started on that, and if you want to experience the roots, like it's such a great format to do so.
I don't know, I just feel like okay, you could say that, but like the Super Nintendo had like all of those, but like way better.
Yeah, well, that's true.
That like I don't know, like okay, Super Metroid, Link to the Past.
Not to mention all the hidden gems on that console. There's a lot of different kind of good games, but at the same time, there's a lot of shit games.
That is definitely true for the NES. We were still figuring out how to make games.
I'm okay with C, I would say, but if we're doing C, I would put it at the top of C.
I'm
not against that. I'm not against that.
One thing that like I also think is important is like I would agree with you, Sam, that there's a lot of great games and a lot of franchises got its start. Like they got their start on the Nintendo. But they're like the machine itself, especially as time has gone on, doesn't hold up like super well. The NES and a lot of the cartridges, they just like they have issues, dude. A lot of the games, they're kind of buggy. They don't always work super well. People were still figuring out how to make video games back then. So it's not like a perfect system in a lot of ways. And I don't know about your guys' experience, but my Nintendo, especially by the end of its lifetime, was beginning to have a lot of technical difficulties, and it can be frustrating to get the thing to work.
Yeah, blowing the cartridges, fucking just...
Mine works pretty good.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. It's like a gamble.
I don't have many issues. I don't play it that much, though, so, like, that might be why.
I didn't exactly play mine to death, either, so who knows, like, where it comes in. I do think it's impressive that a lot of people's Nintendo machines, like, still work. It just happens to be the case that, you know, the cartridges and, what do you call it? The area where you'd, like, insert the cartridge in. That just it can lead to a lot of problems. Either you have the classic thing where you have to blow into the cartridges because it's not, starting properly, and sometimes it gets like stuck when you like put it in like the little like game slot. And just like there's some like a lot of, like I said, a lot of the games tend to be buggy and like technical issues and these types of things. So I think that it holds the console back from being perfect, even though there are a lot of great games on it. The system itself, it's kind of old. It doesn't work, 100% great. That's what I think about it. I think it deserves a spot in just okay.
It's okay. I also think it doesn't have that many like masterpieces. Like,
yeah,
I feel like it's like Mario Bros. 3. Maybe
yep,
like
that's
Punch
a masterpiece.
Kirby's Adventure was ahead of its time, though.
That one's pretty good. And then like that's kind of it, but there's like not that many like amazing like games, I'd say.
I'm gonna go off of what Josh said earlier about the aging hardware and like the limitations. Is like back then, man, those cartridges, you couldn't really save your progress. That didn't exist yet. It was one and done. They did, like, in the later era of NES, they did incorporate that a bit, though. Like, Zelda 2 saves, for example.
Yeah.
Kirby's Adventure, right? Like I mentioned, it saves. But they go off those old battery saving functions. And those batteries in those cartridges will stop working after a while.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been seeing that after, like, 40, 35 years? Like, oh, where'd my save file go? You turn it on again. So you got to get battery replacements if you want to save your game again.
True.
So yeah, it's an issue.
Also, one more thing with the NES, I do like that the controller, how that was like, it's like where it all started almost. The D-pad.
Nintendo invented the D-pad. It's iconic.
Yeah. So
it is simple but iconic for sure.
But I do think it's still like it's okay in the grand scheme of things. It's not bad. To be honest, I only think one of these is actually bad, but
we'll get to that.
I agree. We'll see. Maybe some people have some interesting decisions regarding some of them, but I think, can we all agree NES for C? Is that where we seem to be landing?
Yep, I'll put in C.
Well, there's two of us that
you won me over.
So. Okay. What's next? Game Boy or are we doing Super Nintendo?
Game Boy was 89, I think, right?
I think so. I think Game Boy is before SNES.
Yeah, it's the next one.
Okay, so what can we say about the Nintendo Game Boy?
They sent it to the moon, and it still worked.
What? What?
It's true. Actually, no, they didn't do that. I think they put it in like an area where a fucking explosion happened or something. And
yes, that's true. I know that's true.
Okay.
It was like a Japanese Game Boy that was caught in some type of crazy explosion, but it still functions. That's like it's in a museum somewhere, that Game Boy.
So the OG Game Boy, also known as the Brick.
Yeah.
Very, very, primal looking games. Stone Age.
Yes.
Handheld.
That is true, especially on the console itself. It's hard to see.
I think NES is better.
I would say so.
You know what?
If we're looking just at the OG Game Boy games.
I'm kind of inclined to agree, which makes me think, I don't know if I would be willing to be inclined to say that the Game Boy is bad, though. So maybe we actually do need to move the NES up, if that's what we're going to say.
Well, I don't know. They're in the same...
yeah, because that's at the same level as the NES, man. You know what? Let me pull up some Game Boy games.
There's Game Boy's like kind of weak. Maybe it's bad. Even I don't know.
I think Game Boy's got a lot of great games on it, though. There is a lot to like about the Game Boy. I think like
Game Boy Color had the Pokemon games, not the Game Boy, just for reference.
No, the original red and blue and yellow. Those all released on the original Game Boy.
Oh yeah, they did.
It's true.
So that is where that franchise started, and those games are incredible. I think that they do have some technical difficulties, but I still think that they're fun to play today. I really like Kirby Dream Land. That's the name of the first one, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, good. Kirby debuts on the Game Boy, and that's a classic platformer. You got Link's Awakening, which is, I think, one of the best Zelda games out there. It got a superior port in the Game Boy Color, and that's where the game really shines, but the gameplay was totally intact in the original Game Boy version.
Or we're forgetting something big. Fucking Tetris came out on the Game Boy.
And Tetris, yeah.
Okay, there's Tetris. Well, that's also an NES, though.
I mean, Tetris is iconic.
It's been called the perfect game. Some will disagree, but there is no flaws.
I disagree. I don't think it's perfect, but
I know you do.
I just think the reason I think it's not perfect is like there's like you put blocks. That's it.
It is very straightforward.
There's no like characters. There's like the graphics basically don't exist.
Wait, you don't think Tetramino is a character, dude?
No,
Come
that's
on.
not. I don't know what a Tetramino is.
The L piece, the I piece.
No, get out of here.
Those are the classic characters in video games. That's what you're talking about.
There's like everything I like from a video game, other than just like I guess literal gameplay, is missing.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, like, it is fair enough. It is like a really simple game, but it's one of those like gameplay loops that I think is almost like infinitely fun. Like, I don't think that there's ever a time where, I don't know, like, I feel like when you present me with Tetris, I'm probably going to play it and enjoy myself. It's kind of a difficult time for, I think, a lot of people to... It's, like, difficult for a lot of people to not enjoy playing Tetris, because it is such, like, a straightforward, simple, fun type of game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, okay. It is good. As much as I'm like saying it, I just think the perfect thing is like crazy, but I don't know.
Yeah, the perfect game is perhaps is definitely a bit far fetched. I don't know if there's such thing at all as a perfect game, quite frankly.
And you know what? I think we're underselling the Game Boy a little bit because it was one of the first consoles to actually have ports. It ported a lot of NES games onto it, like fucking the originals like Donkey Kong and Mario, and
you could say
they also had Mario Land, but that's different.
Well, couldn't you say the Atari had ports and like NES?
Yes, but
also?
this is for Nintendo's sake.
Of arcade games, yeah, that's true. But considering that
That's
it's a
true,
handheld, you know, that is kind of impressive.
You can play all those games on the go. That was a big thing.
That being said, though, I think that most people would agree that the Game Boy versions of those games is not the best way to experience a lot of those games. In particular. So, you gotta consider that, too. You know, we can praise it, but let's also be realistic.
Yeah.
It also doesn't have Mario 3.
It doesn't have Mario 3, but
it
it
does
does
have
have Mario
wasn't
Land
it?
2.
That's not as good. Okay. I mean,
Wait, Mario Land 2 was a great game. I love that game.
What about Mario Land 1?
That one's okay.
I can tell you right now, when I first played that, I was like, oh man, Mario Land 1. Mario Land 2 was great. I gotta try this. I finished it in like 25 minutes, the whole game.
Yeah, it's very simple. It's like almost, I think, as simple of a Mario experience as you could hope to find.
Do you remember Mario Bros. 2 on the 3DS?
No.
Yes. You mean New Super Mario Bros. 2?
Yeah, New Super Mario Bros.
Oh, yeah.
Bro,
okay,
I remember beating that game on a car drive.
The whole game?
Yeah. Well, it was like a long car drive, but like, dude.
Okay.
The game was like 4 hours long.
Yep, it's around that much.
Yeah.
I know, there wasn't a whole lot to that one.
That one gets a bit of slack. Some people don't really like it.
But New Super Mario Bros. 2 is like, I'd argue the worst
of that bunch.
I'd say it's the worst mainline Mario game since like Super Mario World came out. I mean, it's better than that. I just mean like Mario Land, like the original one, and like maybe the first Mario, or like not as good, I guess, but that's like it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I agree.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. It was pretty disappointing.
It's
So
not
I think
even
in
like
the Game Boy aspect, though, if we pedal back a bit, I think
the
games probably hold up way more than the hardware.
Yeah, I mean the green, like there's no light.
Yeah.
And it also it takes like 4 AA batteries
Yeah.
to get this thing working, and it drains them too. Famously not as fast as the Sega Game Gear, so back in the day, you know, I guess you got your bang for your buck in terms of battery usage and all that. But still, like, you compare, like, NES doesn't need batteries to function, right? That thing can just go.
You need 20 batteries to power on the NES.
That would be insane.
Just open the back part.
Okay, so where do we want to put the Game Boy?
Where do you feel about the Game Boy?
I'm thinking,
I'd
like,
put it
here.
below. Yeah, right there.
I think right there.
Right below. I'm okay with that.
This spot. Okay. Look,
yeah, I mean, that's fair. I'd say sit right there and see.
Yeah.
The original two go just about hand in hand.
Yeah.
Now, will that be the case with the other like, what do you call it? Like, you know, like in the same generation, like the DS and the Wii. Let's see if that ends up the
We'll
case
find
with those.
out.
We'll see.
Talk about it.
I'm going to think. I think personally, no.
The list may change.
And the list may
As
change.
we get like farther. Yeah.
Yeah, we can always
Might
change
get
the
remixed
list.
around.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Super Nintendo.
All right, this
Super Nintendo
might be the first time where we have a bit of contention here, because I'm thinking anywhere between great or best for Super Nintendo.
I'm in the same ballpark, dude.
I would say it's best.
I'm definitely not
I think
opposed to
best.
putting it in best.
It's like,
What's the downside to the SNES? Let's look at that, because there's so many upsides we could talk about for hours and hours. But
downsides.
it's not 4-player. It's only 2-player.
It is only
two-player.
2-player, but there was expansions. You could.
There was. I
increase it.
own one.
The
They had
3D
5-player
games on it?
extensions.
All the games that were in 3D, which is like not many, but like they all suck. Like Star Fox.
Those graphics are a little rough.
Oh yeah, what was that chip called?
Like it's
What was
like
that chip?
and it has like 2 frames per second. Like it's rough, but that's kind of all I can think of, to be honest.
The Super FX chip is what you're referring to.
Yeah, like those games were not.
At the time, that would have been mind-blowing for a kid to see.
Yes, that was really
Probably.
impressive for the
Definitely aged poorly.
Mhm.
But it's cool to come back to.
The Super FX shit, man.
Yeah.
Although I don't know, man. Other than that, like the Super Nintendo, I think holds up the best out of like any game console until like the PS2, like until the 2000s.
Also, the controller, man. It was one of the best feeling controllers of its time, I would say.
100%.
Yeah.
I
Dude,
still really like the Super Nintendo controller, quite frankly. I'm a
I do
big
too,
fan of
man.
it.
I like pressing the buttons on it a lot.
The buttons feel nice.
It was so good. It was so good, in fact, that for the NES, they made a new controller called the Dog Bone controller, because people love the SNES, so they made a SNES-styled NES controller.
Smart. It is a good controller.
90s.
It is, man. It's like literally other than the fact that it's like really flat, I guess, and like doesn't have handles. It's like almost just as good as like the modern day controllers.
I don't know if I'd go as far to say that, but
I don't know, man. It's good, bro. Like when you press the button,
it is good. It's definitely good for sure.
it's so satisfying to press it, man. Like
The buttons I
just
think
the
in
A
particular
button.
are good.
Bro, like go after this is done. Go find a Super Nintendo controller and press the A button. Your whole life will change.
It'll come back to me. Maybe that's what I need to be reminded of.
Your whole life will be different. You'll realize that, like, man, we've been living in the wrong era. This Xbox and PS5 stuff is just pointless.
For real.
The buttons on that controller, felt great.
I am going to say, I think I would personally advocate for this thing to be an A, because I do think that there are some aspects of other consoles that put them a little bit ahead. But I am okay with it being S, because, I mean, the library on this thing is killer. It has perhaps,
dude.
I think, the best software lineup in all of video game history.
Yeah, man. Like, fuck.
Unless you include, like Virtual Console and stuff like that, because, I mean, there's just, like, hit after hit. You got Link to the Past, you got Super Mario World, you got Final Fantasy 3 or Final Fantasy 6, you got Chrono Trigger, you got Killer Instinct, you got Street Fighter 2,
all the RPGs, JRPGs were
Mario
fan-fucking-tastic on this console, too.
Yes, that's true. They hold up so
So
well.
many timeless games. Chrono Trigger is a big one. I think we can all agree on that one.
You know, I think that's the best game ever made.
Ever made.
I think I've like completely just went on board with that at this point.
That is that's a big statement, man. But I mean, it is a classic.
Did you play through our Chrono Trigger at all, Josh?
I have been still sitting on top of it. I have to get around to it at some point.
Bro,
you're insulting his livelihood.
Okay,
I know Josh has been asking me to play. Josh has been asking me to play it for like years at this point, ever since he first encountered the game, like back in high school. And it is on my to-do list. It is on my games that I have to play.
I'll say, okay, I'll consider it like this. Okay, out of all the RPGs I've ever played, there's only like a very few amount of them that I've actually like replayed, right?
Yeah,
and it's the only one I actually bothered to like 100% the game. So like, there's that, I guess.
Yeah, no, that is pretty impressive.
So I'm like, play. It's so good, dude. It's like from beginning. It's pretty short too.
I have played a little bit of it. I haven't gone fully like all the way through it, because I didn't used to own it.
I got halfway and then I stopped and I regret stopping.
But when I eventually buy it, then for sure I will work my way through that. But anyways, I think that getting back on top of things here.
I know we keep going off topic.
That's what podcasts are for, though.
Yeah,
it's got so many like great titles. The hardware on this thing is great. I mean, you compare it to any of the other consoles of its time, and it's just so much more colorful. It sounds so much better. It really does got a lot going for it, in my opinion. It's still, I think, really good to go back and play Super Nintendo games. This is, to me, where video games kind of really started existing as we know them to be today, like as fully fledged, well-developed experiences that you could really sink your teeth into and get a lot out of. And a lot of those games that were made for this console stand well above games that are coming out even now. Like a lot of these games are leaps and bounds ahead of them. So I say
it's great.
Either A or S for me.
But doesn't that make it like S though if it's that old and it's still like
it holds up today,
comparable
or
to,
above
like,
what today is?
Yeah, it's like comparable or not even better than like current games.
Yeah, you know, I think it's definitely fair. I do think that there are some consoles that like edge above the SNES for like a few reasons, and we will talk about that when we get to them. But I'm definitely not opposed to the SNES being like an S tier in and of itself, because it is kind of the GOAT. It's just got like a game library that just makes it so valuable that I think it deserves the spot up there.
I'm gonna even add on to what you said, and like the music is great. Like the sound chip at that point, you could do so much with it.
I
like,
wanted to talk about that
before
too.
that point, it was all like, you know, digital sounding and 8-bit and whatever. But like, man, it really started sounding great at that point.
Yeah, it was almost at actual instrument level. The sounds that you could make out of it was just so much more high quality. It was such an upgrade.
Donkey Kong Country, man.
Yes, Donkey Kong Country is perhaps... Oh my gosh, I even forgot about Donkey Kong Country. Yes, that exists. That is like perhaps one of the best soundtracks of all time, and it was done on the Super Nintendo of all things. Like, it's impressive.
Also the graphics on that game too.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
they were impressive for DKC.
Oh, 100%. Like, considering that's a Super Nintendo game, it looks like definitely a cut above anything else that was coming out at the time.
Yeah. You know what thing too about the soundtrack of it? I'm pretty sure Donkey Kong Country and Killer Instinct were the first games in America to have soundtracks you could get on like CD.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm like fairly certain that that's the case.
You know what? I would definitely be inclined to believe that, because I mean, those are some soundtracks that you could probably just jam out to.
Yeah,
just
dude.
on their own.
Wait, Sam, have you heard the Killer Instinct soundtrack?
No, I don't think I have.
Oh, dude. That's some
Am I
great
missing
shit,
out?
bro. Yeah, dude, I'm serious.
Oh
You
shit.
gotta do yourself a favor.
Okay.
It's actually really good. The main theme, it goes crazy.
Damn. Yo, I'm big into video game music, so that'd be cool. I gotta check that one out.
Okay, so anyone against it being an S?
I'm saying for SNES, I'm gonna put it at the top of A.
You think A? Okay.
I think, but the top.
Josh, what do
Okay.
you think? You gonna stay with your A opinion?
I'm convinced that, you know what, I'm also gonna think I'm gonna say top of A. I think I'm gonna say top of A.
Okay, we'll go with that then, because I would say S, but if it's 2 against 1, then yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that just goes to show, man, like, the SNES right here got 2 votes for top of S and 1 for S. So, great console. Great console.
Yeah. Okay, which one's next? Is it the N64 or the color?
Color was 98, so it was 64.
Oh wait.
Ah, no, it's the
wait,
Virtual Boy.
Virtual
How
Boy.
we can't forget the problem child.
Oh yes, true. Yep. Here we go.
Okay, so here's the real debate: is it S tier or D tier?
As a meme, I think there was a long time when it was S tier. It was like the Nintendo meme.
Yeah, but it's been around for like too long. The memes, I don't know, but
Guys, we gotta be careful here. They might sue us. We talk poorly about their children.
I think even they understand that the Virtual Boy is. They're in on the joke. They've accepted that the Virtual Boy sucks.
Yeah.
what is this thing even? It looks like War of the Worlds.
Yes,
Hold
it
on,
does kind
yeah.
of look like the body of it does kind of look like those aliens. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, like
Or
what
like
is
the
this
robot
thing?
or the ships or whatever?
Yeah, bro. Like, cause you have like all these like squares and cubes and stuff, and then this monstrosity.
Yeah, it's like a headset, but it's on a stand. It's really bizarre.
It's literally just it looks alien to me.
It does kind of
It's like
look
an
alien. I'm
Okay,
I'm curious, you guys. Have either of you two actually played a Virtual Boy before in your lives?
Never.
I've played Mario Clash on like an emulator, but like
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I've played, like on emulator. I've tried them.
I've never actually played like
I've never put myself in that headset, dog. I've heard too many stories.
yeah.
My
But-
cousin, he had a Virtual Boy, and I did play it one time, and it was
Oh.
something. I think that it is, honestly, I think that it probably gets a worse reputation than I think it necessarily deserves, because some of those games, they're mildly fun in very short periods of time.
Oh, did you get a headache?
But I think if I were to play it for long enough, I probably would have developed a headache. Like, I can see where those complaints come from.
The funny thing is, there's a lot of exclusive games that came out on this from very good franchises. Like there was a Wario Land game,
Yes.
Mario Tennis,
Mario
and a
Tennis.
new Mario game, Mario Clash.
Yeah.
But just the whole thing, the way you play them, the way they look, it's just not worth your time.
I heard,
Yeah, no.
I heard there was a game. It was like it's not Persona, but it's like in that series ish. Like it's like Jack Frost or something.
Oh,
And apparently-
really?
Yeah, and apparently it's like really good. It's like
Oh,
on the
damn.
Virtual Boy.
And it's on
it's like-
the Virtual Boy? Are you
Yeah,
serious?
but- Yeah, and it's
the
like
fuck,
it's like
man?
$500 or something. to get a
That's
copy of it.
crazy.
Oh, they gotta be expensive just because of how fucking sparse they are. Like,
Oh,
how
what's
rare.
it called
There's
again?
5
It's like,
people actually bought them, so...
let me look it up. Hold on, I'm gonna like on my phone for a second. It's like I forget what it's called. It was like Jack-o'-lantern or something. I don't remember.
Yeah, that's
Hold on.
interesting. I didn't know that there was a Shin Megami Tensei game on the Virtual Boy, because I feel like when you think of the Virtual Boy, it's like a Nintendo console, so you assume that the only like game franchises that it supported would have been the Nintendo ones. And the only
Yeah.
game that I'm really familiar with on the system is Mario Tennis, because that was the one that I played very briefly. Other than that, I don't know very much about the games that actually came out on this thing.
It had a small library. That goes without saying. I do know though it had a lot of Japanese exclusive releases,
Oh.
and that's kind of a pain in the ass for collectors. And
Yes, no
honestly, if you're
kidding.
collecting for the Virtual Boy,
Okay,
what's wrong with you?
so
That
I
is,
found it.
yeah, at that point that's a problem in and of itself.
It's called Jack Bros. Okay, and to get a copy of it, right? All right, you guys want to know the loose copy or like complete in box?
Let's go loose and complete. I want to hear the difference.
Okay, so loose is 1,160.
What the hell?
Oh my god, that's crazy.
And then a complete and box one is like $2,800.
Oh my
It's
god.
one of those.
It's one of those.
One of those.
I'm gonna sidetrack a bit for the viewers at home, all two of you, for a moment, just to put in perspective how crazy that is for a Virtual Boy game.
It is like.
Before COVID hit, like 2018, 2019, I was big into game collecting, like, you know, older games. And I saved up enough money at the time where I was like, okay, I'm going to buy a big game, one that I really like, one that I've heard a lot of good shit about. And I could never find one, but eventually I went to the store called One Up Games. And they had this complete in box, sealed in plastic copy of Chrono Trigger for the Super Nintendo.
Hey.
That's nuts.
And at the time, it was still a crazy price. That was like $400, right? I was like, damn, I'm really dropping that much. But I just part of me knew I had to do it, so I did it. I dropped the money. But now, for what I bought for $400, it's worth over $1,000. So
Wow.
I can't really be mad.
Yeah, you got that one, man.
I got lucky.
You got super lucky with that. That's awesome.
But that game, like, at least you could see, like, okay, Chrono Trigger, it's a masterpiece, $1,000. But Virtual Boy games, goddamn.
Well, that's not
Like,
even like.
who's out here collecting Virtual Boy games? I mean, like, really?
Well, that's like. It's apparently it's the most expensive one that came out in America.
Oh,
Like, where-
really?
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, when it came out?
No, Jack Bros is like the most expensive, like, currently.
Oh, right. Yeah, no, that makes sense to me. I could believe that.
Now in Japan, there's another one that's more expensive called
Oh,
Virtual
dear.
Lab. I've never heard of this before, but
Virtual Lab, huh?
okay. Anyways, this console
Yeah.
sucks. Let's just
Yeah, I
Alright,
think
so
we could
let's
talk,
go
you know...
into D.
Yeah. Even trying to be as fair as possible to this thing, I think we can all agree that it's a piece of shit.
It only deserved 10 minutes of our time at most.
we talked about it for way too much.
Yeah,
How did we
longer,
even manage to
definitely
do that,
longer than we
guys?
should have.
like what, that was. Dude,
Why is my phone going off? All right. Anyways,
Okay,
that's
yes.
the Virtual Boy's fault.
Uh-huh. Hey, blame everything on the Virtual Boy.
Yeah. Okay. What's the next one? N65.
N65.
Yeah, it's
That's it.
N65. Okay, where do we want to put this? I'm thinking like. I think it's good.
I think it's good.
I think
Well,
for,
you meant for rating. Okay, hold on.
I think I would personally put it in that same tier as well. I should preface that this is one of those consoles that I never personally owned. I do have a fair amount of experience playing the games from the console and just playing the console itself, but I've never personally owned a Nintendo 64. And I'm going to be honest, I'm not super bummed about it because it seems to me like a lot of the games haven't aged super well, but there are a lot of classics on the console. And
Well,
I think it can still be fun to sit down and play. So I'm okay with putting it in B. I think it is definitely a step above the NES and the Game Boy.
I agree with you.
I would say it's like this. I think it does also have a lot of games that didn't age well. Honestly, most of them. But, like, the games that are, like, really good on it, I think are some of the best of, like, all time. Like, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Mario 64,
There's some masterpieces, man.
64,
Star Fox 64. Like, these games are, like...
Clover.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
Always
they're-
clever.
Like, they're so good. The ones that are good. And then, like, Mario Party are pretty fun.
Mario Party started on
The
that.
Mario parties are pretty good.
You can't go wrong with that. Like, they're still pretty good.
I mean, guys, Mario 64 was revolutionary when it came out. It's
I know,
pretty
that's
100%.
literally... That's one of the most best games ever made.
When I hear people like praising and talking about the N64, like, yeah, a lot of these points are valid, but I feel like a lot of nostalgia is kind of taking over their points. 'Cause
Yeah.
a lot of people who grew up with it, like, they love the shit out of it, of course.
100%.
It's a great console still, but like, I wouldn't put it above the SNES.
No.
Honestly,
It's
like
like
it's 4-player. They moved from battery saving to like chip saving, so like it's eternal. But like, I don't know, man. I would say the SNES has a far better library of games.
Yeah.
because it's
Easily.
like N64 is like 20 good games, 20 great games. But
Well, the great games are really great though. We got to point that out. Like,
Yeah,
the ones
those
that
are
are
really
really
good.
good are like,
to be honest,
goddamn.
that's what saved it from being like C, bro. Because like the controller is ass.
The controller is
the
very
joysticks.
weird.
The graphics on the games look really bad usually.
The frame rate also suffers a bit sometimes.
Yeah. Also, it's
it
just like
struggles to
some
reach
games, yeah.
30.
dude, the resolution too. It's like blurry all the time. Can't see nothing.
The expansion pack being required for certain games is kind of annoying,
It is kind of annoying.
but it is what
But
it is.
it's understandable.
Like, you can't play Donkey Kong 64.
Oh my god, I hate that game. Donkey Kong 64. I cannot stand that game. That's like
Didn't that kill like collectathons or whatever at some point?
like kind of, but Jack and Daxter came out afterwards, and that's like way better.
True.
yeah.
So I don't know, but like I don't know, man. Donkey Kong 64 is like really bad. I don't know. That's like I think that game's like a 1 out of 10. Okay, anyways, this
That
besides
bad.
the-
Wow. That's
How do we feel about the
crazy.
music though? The music.
I like the music, but like that's not like every game has from like Nintendo has good music.
Yeah, I think after the SNES generation, the music, I think, especially in terms of just like quality on the console itself, it goes up after every generation. Like even more so than the SNES, like the samples that were used in the N64, they were good sounding and they sounded more increasingly like actual instruments, which was nice.
Yeah, I feel like the GameCube is when it finally hit.
it became real because it's a CD,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Okay. N64B. I think. Yeah, we all agree.
I'd
with
put
that.
it in B.
I think one other thing that is kind of nice,
Yeah.
like I really want to emphasize with the N64 and sing its praises on, is that this thing is actually it's a really good like multiplayer machine.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah, man.
Even more so maybe than like an SNES, it might be like you might find yourself returning to like an N64 or N64 games more often because there's just like a lot of opportunity. Like there are a lot of games that you can play with other people. Like it has Smash Bros, it has Mario Kart 64, it has the classic Mario parties, it has GoldenEye. So I think, yeah, no, like that's like another thing that has going for it. But I agree. I don't think that it quite reaches the same level as the SNES.
Yeah. Although now one last thing is the console itself, that thing is like a tank. That thing can survive anything, dude.
Anything.
Didn't you wait? Tell them the story where I think you dropped it somewhere.
Yeah, one time. So okay, it was like it accidentally. I think I had it like in a backpack or something, right?
Yeah.
And it like legitimately fell down an entire flight of stairs. And that thing
Oh my
no, like had no damage. It didn't
It
Bro,
was fine.
it's solid, dude. I'm saying.
like it didn't even have a scratch. The whole thing worked perfectly fine still afterwards.
Was it loud when it was banging down?
Oh, dude, it went like
Oh
every,
no.
like
Oh,
every
I'm cringing.
step, and then like, it wasn't like super fast, but like it fell down like a lot of
Yeah,
steps.
it was rough.
Also
That's
like
crazy.
It was one of those staircases too that like turned.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
that's
so
a-
that
It
it
went
went for a while. Yep.
So dude, it was done, but it survived, man. It's a miracle. It's a Christmas.
But
miracle.
yeah, I gotta say the multiplayer aspect really carries here because like, put yourself in a scenario where like you have a couple people over for like a hangout, like a party situation. You're not going to the Super Nintendo. You're gonna go to the N64
Yeah.
for that.
No,
for
it's
that
true.
case.
That does help
Although-
to make the console more memorable, like today.
Memories, nostalgia. Yeah.
Yeah.
Although, I'd argue that some of the other ones that haven't shut up yet have better multiplayer, but
We'll get to that.
We can
I'd
talk
say,
about that.
And I agree.
100%.
I agree.
okay.
And
Alright.
that's why it's in B.
Well, that's why, yeah. Okay, anyways, what's next? Game Boy Color?
Game Boy Color.
And we got the
I
Game
don't-
Boy Color.
I need to look up the exclusives for this because I always blur them between Game Boy and Game Boy Color.
It had Pokemon Gen 2. That's
Gen 2,
Pretty
yeah.
good.
Yep, it had Gold and Silver, which are, I think, some of the better Pokemon games. I don't think the best ones, but they are some of the better ones. For
yeah.
sure.
There's that.
Mm-hmm.
Although I'd argue like Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Okay, whatever.
Those are better versions of those games, straight up. I think that that's the
Yeah.
best way to experience them, at the very least. I do have some nostalgia with that generation, though, so...
No, I understand. It's valid. Also, there's Zelda Oracle of Ages and Seasons.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
those set of games are great.
What? Okay, can I? So I mean, I don't
What?
have that much experience with the color, but like, would it not be just right below or above the Game Boy?
Okay, this is what I'm gonna say, because the Game Boy Color had its own like library. Technically, it did,
Yeah.
but it could also play every Game Boy game.
Yes, that is true. It was just
Okay,
kind of like a better Game Boy.
Yeah. So and it was Nintendo's first experiment testing motion control games too.
Yep, that's true.
It had
Was it
Kirby
actually?
Tilt and Tumble. It had Wario. It had a WarioWare game where you could move it too. WarioWare Twisted was the name. Yeah.
Wasn't that on Advanced though?
Oh no,
Twisted?
that was advanced. But no, Kirby Tilt and Tumble that had motion controls. And there was Yoshi's Topsy Turvy was Game Boy Advance. Was it just Kirby Tilt and Tumble that had it?
It probably was.
Either way, they were trying new things.
Yep,
Had
they
great
were
games.
experimenting.
Okay, so since we kind of come to a consensus, better than Game Boy, is it better than NES?
Oh, now it's getting difficult. You got every Game Boy Color game and every Game Boy game.
Versus NES. I'd still
Game Boy
kind
Color
of
took less batteries. Took only what, 2?
It also has color now. That's also
It does
good.
have color. That does help a lot.
It still wasn't backlit though.
And it still wasn't backlit.
I'd still argue the NES is better, to be honest.
I think I agree.
The NES.
I think that we can say that it and the NES or in the Game Boy are more or less comparable.
It's like closer to this, but like it's still, yeah. I don't.
I don't think it's
It's like
leaps and
almost
bounds
there.
ahead.
No,
Okay.
just a better version.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we can start with the GameCube.
We are now. Yeah, we're at. No wait, when did the Game Boy Advance come out?
Yes, it's either GameCube
Oh,
or Game
wait.
Boy Advance.
Wait, when did it? Someone look it up. Which one?
I got you. Game Boy Advance. Game Boy Advance came out in 2001. Wait a minute. So
What
when
month?
did June?
Okay, it's next.
So
Alright,
it comes out
Advance?
first then, yeah.
March and June, because March for Japan.
This is tough. I don't know where I would put this console. It's pretty good.
Game Boy Advance. I would say, and this is going to be a bold statement, but I think it has a better library of games than the Game Boy.
Yeah,
I 100% agree. I don't even think that's a bold
Same.
stance. I think that's just kind of true.
Okay. Well, no, like I mean, like the Game Boy and Game Boy Color combined, I think it's better.
Okay,
Oh,
I
okay,
thought
yeah,
you were gonna.
yeah.
When you said that, I thought you were about to say the N64 or the Super. You said bold. I was like, are you saying those?
I think it's even like more enjoyable than NES, so I'd put it in B easily.
Yeah,
I think
feel
it
like
has
it's
to be
probably
like
B.
I don't think that it reaches up into like the A or anything like that, but this thing had a
No,
great
no.
library. I think a lot of what made it
It had the backlit consoles.
was the original
Like the
Game Boy
SP.
Advance backlit. Is that true? Or the SP was?
Oh no, it wasn't. It was the SP and the Micro, but not the OG Advance.
But if we're considering
I
the
think-
whole line of consoles, then it does technically include that.
Yeah, let's do
Oh,
all
yeah.
of them. Let's do all of them.
No, we gotta look at it collectively because they're all Advance.
I would. Oh, that's tough.
I mean-
Okay, I think it's B also. The thing is like, okay, compared to N64, I'm trying to think like, because I think the Game Boy Advance has overall a more like solid. It holds up better, like overall, but the
I
N64
agree.
has like its best games on N64 are a lot better, I'd say. Like, like, let me ask you, does any game to you guys on Game Boy Advance come anywhere close to Mario 64 or Ocarina?
Mario and Luigi Superstar.
I'd say
Saga was
Pokemon Emerald might. But other
Okay,
than that,
Pokemon
I don't
Emerald.
think so. Like, I don't think it has as many classics.
Yeah, that's the thing. But I mean, I like Metroid Zero Mission. I like that one. That's pretty good. But like,
Fusion.
The Minish Cap is great.
I haven't played Fusion much, but Zero Mission was really good. But I
Ever
heard.
play the Minish Cap?
Do people like that?
I've
one?
never
What's
played the
one
Minish
people
Cap.
Don't like.
I can't say much about that one.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Not better than Ocarina of Time
What
though.
else did it have? It had
As
some good
Mario and
Kirby
Luigi,
games.
Superstar Saga.
One of my favorites, by the way.
That one's good.
That's
Okay.
a great game.
I'd
One of
argue-
the best on the console.
I'd argue though Mario Kart that's one of the worst Mario Kart games. Which
Oh, Advance.
yeah, but to be fair, I mean it's the Mario Kart series that's like all of them are good. So like that being one of the lowest ones is still like a good
Here's
game.
where it gets difficult because we're trying to compare the GBA to the N64. Is that the Advance had SNES ports on it.
It did have a lot of
NES
SNES ports.
And could play the entire library of Game Boy and Game Boy Color games. It's just
that is true.
It has so much.
It does
you know
have
what
all
I mean?
the Mario 2D games on it. Okay.
Like it had Mario World on it. It had Mario 3 on it. Like
oh, dude, if you have Mario World, dude, okay, that makes it.
people don't realize oh my god, Kirby's Amazing Mirror. I love that game.
You know what?
That was open world Kirby.
Okay, you know what?
of.
I'm gonna say I think it's better than N64.
The one thing that has a bad side
I think it might be better than N64. Or go on, Sam. You can finish what you're saying.
multiplayer was shit. You had to buy the link cable or whatever.
Yeah.
You had to look like you were fucking in an octopus circle to play 4-player.
True. Yep. Yeah, no, that was annoying.
It had it though, but like, no one used that.
It's functional, but it's not practical.
Yeah. I'm gonna say it. I'd put it above 64.
I think I'd put it above
Yeah, I agree.
64, but I don't know if I'd put it on the same level as the Super Nintendo.
No.
Agreed.
Well,
Agreed.
I think they're close in N64. I think they're close.
I
but
agree.
yeah, I agree.
I agree.
Oh, they're
Game
very,
Boy's
very
better.
close. Oh man, it had two WarioWare games.
Okay, so then here we're doing this then.
It had all the Donkey Kong countries on it. It's just you have to put GBA above 64.
Yeah. Although Donkey Kong Country's better on SNES, but it's
That's
still
why
there.
SNES is above it.
It's
Mm-hmm.
okay.
I'm perfectly fine with that.
All right, GameCube.
GameCube, baby.
All
Let's
right.
fucking go.
All right.
Yes, sir. Where do we want to
Well,
start?
Let's talk about it, gentlemen. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
It's just a GOAT console, man. It's just a GOAT. Okay, there's some. Okay, it's the GameCube. Okay, it's the.
Okay,
Cube.
guys, it had a handle on it.
Okay,
You
honestly,
could pick it up.
this is the coolest looking console out of all of them. I think.
People
You
made
think
fun
so?
of it at the time, but I think it's
The
memorable.
lunchbox.
No,
The
it's pretty
lunchbox.
stupid. The PS2 looks like a plank. Like I don't even know what that.
It looks
like.
old, is what it
Like
does.
what?
That shit, no offense, it like has not aged particularly well. I take a look at that machine and I'm like, that shit is old. It has a lot of charm. It has a lot of character. This feels like the artistic person's console of choice.
Okay.
It's so cubular.
It is
So
very
pristine.
cubish. Very.
Okay, so
Its design is definitely memorable. That's for sure.
Yes.
I think okay. So in terms of like the games, I think it has a lot of each series. A lot of them it has the best games of best
Of their
game-
franchise?
Yeah,
Agreed.
I would say for not all of them obviously. Like I think
No.
I don't think Mario.
I don't think
Sunshine-
Twilight Princess is the best Zelda.
Yeah, I don't think that or like Wind
No,
Waker
but-
or like Sunshine.
They're great, though.
But
They're
they
really
are
good.
the
They're
fact-
really good.
The fact that it has all three of those on one system, that does really elevate it a lot. Like those are great entries in those franchises. Even if they're not the best, they're still amazing
Yeah,
games.
but
Oh, dude, it's a master class of each game.
it's
I
got the
gotta tell
best.
you.
It's got the best Paper Mario, the best. What else? F-Zero.
F-Zero.
Best
Yep.
F-Zero.
Arguably Mario Party, I'd say is the best ones.
Oh, yeah. Mario Party 6, dude.
Mario Party
It's
6.
like probably the greatest Mario Party.
It's Mario Party
Either
6.
that or
is-
like 7, maybe.
Mario Party 6,
I don't
7, 4's great too. 5 is it's good.
4 you can play. 5 is yeah. But even the Meg games are still good. That's how fucking good this
Well,
console
okay,
is.
here's the thing with Mario Party 5. I'd rather play 5 over most of the other ones from the other consoles.
Would you play 5 over 3?
I don't know. It depends. Maybe not.
Mario Party 3 is more traditional. And
I like
it.
I think 2 and 3 are better than 5, but I think 5 is better than 1, and all of the ones after 7.
And 9.
It's better than 9, 10, 8 probably even. I don't know. I like 8.
Yeah, but let's just take a step back and look at that. But like 4 Mario parties on a single console.
I don't know.
That's
nuts.
crazy. That alone is crazy.
Yeah, dude, Luigi's Mansion.
It's got Luigi's Mansion.
Fucking phenomenal launch title, by the way.
Oh, Melee, bro. Okay, there we go.
Melee.
Yeah, Melee.
Oh my lord.
Mario Kart Double Dash.
Oh, Double Dash was so
The
fun.
multiplayer on this console is not anything to scoff at either.
Oh, Melee's like, I mean, Double Dash.
I'm gonna
is really
say it has the best Mario Tennis. Do you agree or disagree?
I kind of like Aces slightly more.
I haven't played the GameCube one, but I'm definitely more than willing to trust your word on that. I feel like
that's
isn't
my
it generally
opinion.
true that like most of the Mario sports games on this console was like where they hit their like peak?
Oh yeah, Mario Strikers was peak.
I think the baseball one on the Wii is way better though.
You like Mario Sluggers is fun.
Yeah,
that's a
Sluggers,
good
yeah.
game.
Over Superstar Baseball. Sluggers was like.
Oh yeah, like
But I actually do like
oh yeah,
Strikers
there was
better.
a baseball game on GameCube.
Yeah, the GameCube one, the baseball one was kind of mid on GameCube.
Forgot I owned that.
But no, Strikers I like the GameCube one better than Wii.
Me too.
Hmm.
I like that one. A Wario World.
Mario World, man.
What else was there?
Interesting title.
Oh,
Good
Mario.
title.
Metroid Prime.
Oh,
Yeah,
Prime
yeah.
1 and 2.
Oh, dude, Toadstool Tour was the best Mario Golf.
Yeah.
That one's good.
Toaster Tools, yeah.
That's-
Wasn't that meme where like, oh, my whole house burnt down, but the one thing I brought with me was
Mario
Toadstool
Golf.
Tour.
Yeah, that video is so funny.
I love that meme.
The guy just Mario Golf.
Where'd
Oh,
my
I
dog
say
go?
it's peak. It's peak.
Okay, Kirby's Air Ride is goated.
I
Yeah.
thought Kirby was a little lacking because it didn't have any like big Kirby games, but Air Ride as a game still was like I loved it.
I'd
Yeah.
honestly,
It's
I-
super fun.
I think Kirby's Air Ride's like top 3 Kirby games.
You know what, man? It's just so fun as a party game.
It is. I mean, okay, I like.
It's not a main line, but like it's probably one of the
Yeah,
best
very
Kirby
different.
spin-offs that ever came out.
Dude, I used to play it all the
Yeah, I'm
time when I
inclined to
was
agree with
like
that.
first playing it. What else is there? Star Fox Assault is pretty good.
There's 2 Star Fox games though. One's better than the other.
Yes, that much is definitely true.
Assault
That much
the
is
only-
definitely true.
That's Adventures was ass, but Assault I think is like the best Star Fox game after 64.
In the whole series?
Okay.
Or after
Yeah.
64, you think?
Yeah, 64 is
Yeah.
like the goat.
It is kind of the goat.
Assault's pretty good, and then all the other ones are like skippable.
Yeah. Fair enough, fair enough.
Now, it's no question in anyone's mind that the GameCube's library of games are just
Bro,
it's so good.
oh sorry, can we just?
You're getting ahead of yourself, Josh. Come on, we haven't talked
Can
about
we-
this yet. Come on.
Bro,
I've gotta
bro.
say
Patience,
though,
patience.
I've gotta say, since we've been talking about backwards compatibility a lot, it can play the GBA, the Game Boy Color, and the Game Boy games, all of them. If you
That
have
is
the
pretty
player.
impressive. You know,
It can do all those.
that
games.
is pretty nice.
And it got bongos.
Oh, it's
And
got
it had
bongos.
It's got bongos. Bongo games.
It's the origins to the best games ever
The best
created.
game. Yeah. What else is the
The
Dance
Donkey
Pad?
Konga franchise.
Donkey Kong.
And now I'm inclined to say this, but for any Nintendo console, I think it has my favorite controller.
Oh, dude, yeah. think
I
it's the best
personally, I
controller.
disagree on that. I think that the next couple of generations have more comfortable controllers, but I can get it. And I especially
Yeah.
get why people use that controller for Smash Brothers. I feel like that is like the Smash Brothers controller.
Yeah,
The
man,
GameCube
if you,
controller-
if you feel it, it resonates with the soul.
I
man.
still, you know what? When I play Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, I use the GameCube controller.
Oh, really?
I
Yeah.
don't. I love the GameCube controller, man, but I didn't do that.
No, I did that, bro. I liked using it, dude. If I can use it on a game, I'll do it.
Damn.
The only time I don't use that controller is if like there's games that's like there's more buttons you need than that controller.
Yeah, but if you
has.
play the TTYD remake on Switch and use the GameCube controller, how are you gonna play? How are you gonna press ZR?
what does that do
True.
again? I don't.
It
need
opens
that.
a menu, dude.
Isn't it? Wait, didn't it? Wait, ZR isn't that just the Z button?
No,
ZR is not Z.
that's L or ZR. Remember, I tried. Okay, I'm saying this because I tried, and it didn't work. Like there was some button that didn't work.
That's
pretty
lame that you can't do that. Like, are you kidding me?
No, I'm pretty sure that's just like a helper thing. You don't actually need that button.
Okay.
Mm.
Well, maybe I just had it set up improperly, but I remember being bummed about that. Anyways.
All right. Well, anyways, I think another great thing about the GameCube is honestly its lunchbox design. The fact that it has a handle and it's kind of small, it makes it easy to like take places.
Yeah.
Which was kind of nice.
The disk drive is good because it's a top loader.
Now,
True.
we haven't praised this about any console so far yet, but I'm going to mention this now. But I think so far, from what we've seen from Nintendo, this actually had power.
Yeah.
That stands out.
In terms
that
of
stands out.
hardware,
The
it was the
graphics
best
are
of
really
its
good.
generation.
Literally the best of its generation, by the way. For power.
No, the Xbox is.
Or the
more-
Xbox might have
the
beaten it out,
Xbox.
but the thing was still a tank.
Yeah, man, it was good.
It's still yeah.
It ran stuff in 60, no problem. They looked beautiful.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
The games still look good today.
I know, man. Like, you could turn it on and it would look like a modern kind of game.
Yeah.
Even
Now-
though modern these days are like getting crazy.
I will say, gentlemen, we have talked a lot about ways to praise the GameCube. That I do think that I have a feeling that you guys are going to want to put it up there in S and say that it is one of the best of the Nintendo consoles. I think that it deserves top of A, right up there alongside the Super Nintendo.
Okay.
I think it's better hardware than the Super Nintendo and everything like that. And in terms of Nintendo games, it does definitely have like the best lineup. But that being said, I do think that there are a lot of consoles that are still coming up that are still like a step above where the GameCube is. But that's just how I see it. If you two think that S, like, I can more than understand it. So I'm good. I'm good with where you guys want to put it.
I'm a little conflicted now.
I feel like
I've-
it should be
I'm-
yes, to be honest.
I'm thinking, but Josh, the Wii can play every GameCube game.
Yeah, but that's not every version of the Wii though.
Not
Yeah,
every
but we're
version
looking at
of
the best
Wii.
version of every console so
Mhm.
far, like the SP, and for example.
Well, but I mean, like, there's two versions of the Wii that don't. But what about the GameCube? Can play all the Game Boy games in advance.
So well, it had the shop, but that's gone now.
It's also gone.
Yeah, it is gone now. But at the time, it was great.
We got to look at the consoles in their prime, I would say, subjectively.
Okay, well, the GameCube. Okay, the Wii. Well, can't the Wii also be an S tier? But
Yeah.
I'd also argue the Wii though has like problems that the GameCube doesn't though.
Mm.
I don't think it's like automatically better just because it plays GameCube.
Yeah, because if you're gonna argue like, oh, two of the versions of the Wii didn't have backwards compatibility, I could argue, well, the GameCube doesn't come with the Game Boy player, technically.
That's fine.
Yeah, it's not built in. You do have to pay for
It's
it.
not even built in
so
one of the
that's-
versions of.
Okay, so then, all right.
This hurts
Then
me to
that
say
like
this
would can't
because
then that
it's
cancel it out?
my favorite. For anyone listening, it's my favorite console, but I have to look at this fairly here.
Well, you can have more than one thing in S tier.
You can.
It doesn't have to be the only one.
This might be the hardest decision, guys.
Okay, realistically, okay, how many of those consoles would you actually put in S tier that are left?
I don't know
I'm
if we
thinking
should say
two.
that, though.
One I'm in between
thinking
on,
two.
but I'm thinking two.
Okay, so you're saying we can't have like 2 or 3 in S tier?
We totally can. I would put it at the same level as the Super Nintendo. That's just where I'm at.
I would put it above, but I don't know if it
'Cause-
deserves S.
Because I have like arguments for both, like the Wii. Honestly, all of those that they have things that the GameCube doesn't have as problems. Like
that's
all of
that's
those
fair enough.
consoles, I'd argue that are there.
Sorry, man. I'm saying bottom of S. That's
Okay.
my verdict.
Okay, well we have 2 S tiers, so that then.
All right, there we
You
go.
can-
All right, send that shit up. All
Okay.
right.
So what's next? The DS.
Yeah, now we're talking about this is a real gamer's console. Okay, the Nintendo DS. I'm putting it
The
in
Nintendo 3DS.
A tier, I think.
Yeah, easily.
Or
Okay.
maybe
What do you think?
I'm gonna be on. I think they're like to me, the DS, it's got a lot of things like good going for it. Maybe I got to take a look at the library again, because when I remember the DS, I remember playing a lot of Pokemon. Quite frankly, that's what I remember being good on this system. Was it had the best Pokemon games. It had Pokemon Diamond Pearl, and then it had Pokemon Platinum. It's amazing. It's got Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver, which might be perhaps the best Pokemon games ever made. You got Pokemon Black and White and Black and White 2. So those 4 games all came out on this same console, and they're all iconic. It also got... What else did it have on it? I mean, it had...
It has Go Pokemon games.
It does have, like
great
in
Mario Party
Pokemon,
game.
it's definitely, like, reached its peak, in my opinion, on the DS.
I
agree.
I agree with that. That's... Yeah.
They're so expensive, too, for a reason, man.
That is true. Like, oh my god.
It's not even funny.
It is not funny. It's depressing. I will never play some of those games ever again.
Dude, you gotta keep your games. Anybody who's listening and they're looking through their old stuff, keep your games.
You never know what it might be worth. You never know.
There was these crazes back like 15 years ago where people were like getting rid of their old games and selling them to video game stores. You will regret it. You will regret it, man.
And that's one thing
Because
we've
what the
learned.
fuck? You're gonna get what, $20 and like maybe a PlayStation 3 back in the day. If you're lucky.
I don't even
maybe.
think the PS3. I think just the $20.
Yeah, probably just the $20. Have fun. Go buy a FIFA game. Anyways.
What else? What else did the DS have for it? I remember it had
Touchscreen, man.
It had a touchscreen, which is good. It was great in particular for Mario Party DS. That was like great.
I love those
That was good,
games. Mini games.
Okay, can I say
Go on,
something
Josh. Go on.
against it though? I'm gonna just...
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, 100%.
Okay, other than the first party games and like RPGs, I feel like all the other third party games were like actually just garbage.
It did have a lot of trash ports on it. That much is for sure.
It had a lot of shovelware too.
Bro, like
by the way,
a bad DS game in particular, I find is like unplayable. They're just like...
Yeah.
I wouldn't go as far as unplayable.
I don't know, man, like
you know what? Actually, Barbie games and shit.
No, dude, like the
Dollars
third party games when they suck on DS, it's like
It's bad.
you
It's
can't
bad.
play them, bro. Like they're like unplayable.
No, I gotta agree then. Yeah, I'm looking at my shelf over here.
It's
Like, there's one game I just wouldn't play.
dude,
I
there's
own.
some games I couldn't beat the first level because they're so unplayable on the DS.
Now, gentlemen, I have a bit of a dilemma here because I'm not too sure that I would put the DS at the same level as the Super Nintendo, but I also don't think that I want to put it at the same level as the Game Boy Advance and the N64. I think it's better. I think it's somewhere in the middle.
The same dilemma as me putting it above an A or S. Yeah,
I kind of agree.
to
be honest,
I would say it's gotta be like bottom A maybe.
I think bottom A.
That kind of
I think that's fair enough because I think it's got enough going for it where it can be remembered as an all-time great, but I don't think that it really it deserves to be up there as like one of the best of all time.
Also, the like original DS and the DS Lite play GBA games.
Yeah, GBA.
That's pretty cool.
That is true.
was it?
That is something good to consider. So I think that will automatically put it above
Yeah,
the
so we'll
GBA.
Just stipulation with which version you got though. The OG DS, the one in that picture right there, the big brick version, it could play I think big Game Boy games and Game Boy Color games too.
Oh, could
But
it?
then the DS Lite could only do GBA.
Yeah, and then DSi and DSi XL couldn't even do
Could
that.
do nothing.
Wow.
So the OG DS could play every Game Boy game technically.
That's crazy.
So it's got to be better than GBA automatically.
Yeah, by virtue of that, I agree.
Also,
I didn't know that because I grew up with DS Lite, so...
Yeah, DS Lite was only
DS Lite
GBA.
too. Also, it has arguably more iconic game. I mean, the Pokemon alone, honestly, is better than the Pokemon here. Like,
yeah.
overall, because there's like a million of them on this.
Oh yes, like that thing was flooded with Pokemon games and Pokemon spin-offs of all kinds.
And there's like Mario DS, New Super Mario Bros. Was good. Mario
Yeah,
Mario
Super
Kart
Mario
DS.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, Mario Kart DS was crazy. Bowser's Inside Story.
Yep, that was great.
I'm trying to think. There's a lot of good ones. So we all agreed like here.
I'm okay with that. I think it deserves, as a handheld, it can easily be A. 100%.
Because I think... Yeah, I this makes sense to me. Because it's definitely better than this, but I feel like it's also, like, this is not worse than...
Oh, I'm looking into it now. And no, for some reason I thought the original DS could play Game Boy games, but no. It's only GBA.
Oh, dang.
It's only GBA? Okay. Well,
fact check there.
It's still probably going the same.
I'd say the GBA library alone is still,
Yeah. Cool. I like this list so far. Like, overall.
I think it's shaping up to be pretty good.
Yeah. Up until the DS, I feel like handheld consoles were alright. But I feel like the DS was really like, it set in stone, like, okay, handheld hardware is actually worth getting.
Yeah.
And investing in.
I'm interested in the 3DS conversation.
Where are we now? The Wii.
The Wii,
We're
yeah.
the Wii now. Okay.
The Wii's pretty good.
The Wii that's an understatement. The Wii is great.
I think the Wii is fantastic.
Does it have any flaws? What do you think has a flaw?
I'd say it does.
I'd say it's not flawless, that's for sure.
It's got like there's so many garbage games on it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then like a lot of games, the motion controls like don't really work.
The motion controls were great, and also equally not as great.
yeah, I'd agree with that. Now, okay, I'd say this: the first party lineup and some of the third party games are like a lot. Like the first party games are like pretty much like 90% of them are great. I can't think of that many that are like bad other than like Wii Music.
Yep, nope, you're right. That one is not great.
Like,
but I mean, it had a lot of memorable entries.
Mario Galaxies are like
Mario Galaxy.
Bro, that's like that's like a top 10 game of all
You got
time.
both the Galaxy games. You got Zelda Twilight Princess was technically a launch title, I think. And
it was.
there was also Skyward Sword, which some people dislike, but I think is really underrated.
Still a great game.
You got Return to Dreamland, one of the best Kirby games.
One of the best Kirby games.
It's also got the Dream Collection.
And the Dream Collection.
Oh yeah, the Dream Collection. Great set.
Yeah. But it's got Mario Party 9. And that was the start of the...
Yeah, the start of
Mario Party 9...
The bad years.
To be fair, though, as like... Okay, get it outside of the context of Mario Party. It's like... This
is when Mario Party started to go downhill, I'd say.
It's just like when you compare it to like the other Mario Party games, it just kind of falls apart, but... It's like playable.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Although...
you know what?
Or go on, Sam. What are you going to say?
Well, you go first. Okay, I'll go first.
I'll just say, we also got to remember
it has Brawl.
Okay. Yes, Brawl. What a good game. What a good game.
That's so funny.
But
that was a Discord moment
the
right
story
there,
mode.
for real.
Oh, yeah. I'd say the story mode in Brawl carries.
Yeah, Subspace is great. It's definitely the best story mode of any Smash, and I don't think that they're going to do something that will reach those same heights ever again, quite frankly.
The story mode? Probably not. But Melee versus Brawl. Does the...
Melee.
Yeah.
As a playable game, yeah.
Yeah.
It's true. In terms of gameplay...
Pretty cool.
Online Brawl, you think?
Online Brawl was like, it was pretty cool at first, but it didn't really work well.
Oh yeah.
I heard that it had a lot of problems at launch. I never tried to play it online.
I didn't either. I just heard it was terrible too. I've seen footage of it and it looked scary.
It looks rough.
They were trying, guys.
Yeah, it was a trial phase, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I think one other thing that's important is that you do get a whole ass GameCube when you buy this thing.
Yeah. You invest in the right Wii.
And it also it was the first time it had Virtual Console, and it also had a digital storefront.
This is a big thing about it, was the Virtual Console. And for anybody thinking that's gone now, if you own a Wii, it is one of the most popularized consoles to mod and make that a function again. You can literally play anything on the Wii these days, except for newer games, of course. But like you
all
could just
the old stuff.
get everything.
Does that count though? The homebrewing and like hacking.
I mean, we're looking at hardware.
I
here,
guess
right? It's a bit touchy.
but
know.
I mean, still, we were talking about like that was how the Virtual Console like used to function. So I mean, like anybody who grew up with a Wii and stuff like that, like I don't know about you guys, but a lot of the games that I bought on the Virtual Console, I still have on my Wii, and I can still play them.
Exactly. I'm gonna say we look at the Wii as it was out and new, because that's fair to say, because it had so much shit that offered to it for like in that generation of players.
Oh, dude! Also, we forgot
It's hard to
something.
ignore.
Forgot something. The Mii's.
The Mii's.
The Mii's were iconic. That is
Mii's,
true.
bro. The Wii Sports.
That's a
and all that.
cultural landmark in history.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And they're still kicking somehow.
If you grew up around this era, you knew, like, you could, the Mii's and Wii Sports and that whole franchise, that's, like, instantly
All that.
recognizable.
I one time made a Mii, and it was like the most ugly guy ever, and his name was Shit Ass.
I think everybody did something like that. They made a funny looking
It's
Mii.
something
I
like
would
that
just-
when you were a
I
kid.
would just, I
Yeah.
just made the most ugly characters, bro. That'd make them do stuff. Oh man, Wii's good.
What do you guys
I like
think?
the GameCube. I like the GameCube better, but I understand.
This is the thing. I prefer the GameCube's core library over the Wii.
Mm-hmm.
But because we're looking just at standalone hardware and the consoles themselves and what they have, pains me to say this, but I think the Wii is just it edges over the GameCube a little bit.
And Josh, you think that too, right?
Personally,
What you love it?
I think so. Just given the fact that this thing was able to play so many games, that makes it like a level above the GameCube.
I know.
Fair
It's
enough.
just
You just play a lot.
It's
Even
so
despite
much
all the
shit.
shovelware, there was just so much good.
yeah. It had
Yeah.
so many
Like-
games. Donkey Kong
Yes,
Country
it did.
Returns, man. I love that game.
Oh, dude, actually, that's
Yep.
for that game.
Might be the
Wait,
best Donkey Kong game. Is it?
I think
I
it
don't
is.
know.
A lot of
It's
people.
one of the best.
A lot of people don't.
I think I would agree too.
I
Like
love.
Donkey Kong Country 2, number 2 is good though too.
Dude, I think all. I'm gonna be honest. All 5 Donkey Kong Country games are all fantastic.
They're all amazing. You could
Yeah,
honestly
they're like-
you could pick just about any of them, and I think it'd be fair enough.
I'd say all of
I
them
agree.
are at least like an 8 out of 10 game. Even like Donkey Kong Country 3 is still like the
Yeah.
same level.
I mean, I heard like
Yep.
some iffy things about number 3, but I played through it and it was still a fun, fantastic game to play
Yeah.
through.
I actually
you'll
I really
enjoy
like
it.
3. I like that game a
Yeah.
lot. It's fun.
It had its own feeling to it. I don't know
Yeah.
how to describe it, but it was a vibe.
I love the music in that game. Okay.
Different composer though. You gotta
Is
be
it?
be wary of that.
But it's still good. It's like different though. It's like all. It's more like. I don't know how to describe it. They're all atmospheric actually. So never mind.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
Okay, we're talking about the Super Nintendo again now. Somehow, but okay.
Yeah. Anyways,
Next
the
one.
3DS is I think next, right?
The 3DS.
Okay.
Yes.
This is tough. I would say it's probably above the DS, under the Super Nintendo.
Hmm.
It can play all the DS games.
It can play all the DS games. This also had its own virtual console.
Yeah. The
And
library's
the eShop, everybody.
the library's pretty
Mhm.
solid too.
Its core library is great. I think its core library is definitely better than even the OG DS.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Especially because I mean, like for me, I think like DS was the king in terms of Pokemon, and it had a good Mario Party and stuff like that. But I think even like the Mario Kart, I think I like 7 more.
More than
Um,
I like 7 more than DS.
I
People
don't
love
know.
DS, but you know what?
I kind of like DS a little bit more, but
I like
that's,
7's online. I gotta say that.
that's valid.
7's
I
online
would
was
say-
good. That was a vibe.
Okay, I want to make a statement.
I put them equal. I'm. It's a weird way to rate them, but I'd put them equal.
I think
I kind of think they're equal too, because there are some things that the DS got better, but some things that the 3DS ended up getting better in the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
and then the 3DS also has DS. So okay, the thing with the I'll say this with the 3DS though. I think the Mario games and Pokemon games are like overall better on the DS than the 3DS. But like everything else, I think 3DS is better. Cause like, okay, think about this.
Thinking about some of the sports games on the 3DS.
Versus Stinky.
I don't know.
The DS Mario and Luigi games, I think, are better. I know they remade them, and I guess you could say that.
Bowser's Inside Story and Partners in Time are masterpieces.
Dream
Team and Paper Jam, you can come back and play them, but they're not going to be as good as the DS ones.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, and then like New Super Mario Bros. Is better on DS.
Yeah.
I mean, 3D Land's good,
But like we can look at the library, right? But you could just play all the DS games on the 3DS, and that's why I think it's the best handheld, not including the Switch, of course.
Yeah. Also, dude, like Kid Icarus, Fire Emblem.
Kid Icarus Uprising, man.
Yep, Fire Emblem was peak on this console, in my opinion.
Yeah. What else? What else was on it?
What was that Zelda game? What was it called? It has
Link
a
Between Worlds.
I love that game.
Yeah, no, that's a really good Zelda.
I'm trying to think.
And
games
I'm gonna be
underrated.
honest with you here, as a really big Kirby fan. The 3DS had some of the best mainline Kirby games.
Oh, dude, I
That's
never played
true.
Ever seen.
Robobot, but
That
I
is
heard that
true.
one was so good.
Planet Robobot was
Robobot?
amazing to play. It's like it gave me Kirby 64 vibes, but like very polished and like actually like in depth enough to where it's like, oh shit, modern Kirby and all this shit. Like it's hard to describe in so many words, but it was really good to play.
Even Triple Star was really good. Triple Star was the other one for that.
Yeah.
Or Triple Deluxe, that's what it was, yeah.
Don't people also like love Animal Crossing New Leaf?
Oh man.
Yes,
Animal
that
Crossing.
is... I think it's the best Animal Crossing. Still.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not tuned to
oh,
Animal
yeah,
Crossing,
easily.
but like I can recognize that one's like. Yeah. So are we?
I want to
it
hear your
here?
opinion though, Josh. Would you put it above SNES? Like Juice, I mean.
Yeah, I don't think I would put it above SNES, if I'm being honest. I think SNES has, like, solid enough... It has, like, solid enough titles and franchises that the 3DS doesn't have, like, any titles in, to the point where I think it deserves to be below. I think.
Okay. Well, I'm thinking either. Yeah, I was torn a bit between if it goes above or below, but looking back, I think it's just right below. I would say.
Below what? Super Nintendo?
Yeah, just right below.
Yeah, that seems fair enough. The 3DS,
Okay.
I have to say, is a weird console because it's kind of the one that's like, I feel is not looked upon as like, the like like the other ones are like super nostalgic, like everybody is about them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's like not really like that, but it's still like really good.
Yeah. You know, I
think that's a
kind
good
of
spot.
agree. I get what you mean.
Like it's never anyone's like favorite console, I've noticed, but like
But it's still remembered very well. Very, very
Yeah.
well.
okay,
I think it might be a
so
little underrated, if I'm being honest.
It is. It's
Not
a bit
necessarily in our
underrated,
tier list, but in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Wii U.
All right.
Wii U, man.
Here we go. It's time for me to step up and make my stand as one of the few Wii U advocates left in the world.
On this planet.
I'm open to
Yeah.
hear it, but it's like I don't know, man. I mean, okay, it does play every Wii game.
It could play every Wii game.
It does
They
play
also
every
look-
Wii game.
They also look minusculely better on the Wii U than the Wii because it's HD.
Yes. Yep.
So they do look slightly better.
No GameCube controllers with the GameCube. I mean the Wii U. Oh god.
I
I'm having
think
a
you
stroke.
technically
other
could.
than
I think
Smash.
there was an extension that allowed you to.
Only in
There
Smash
was.
Bros. Though.
But only for Smash Bros. That's
They had
true.
that.
Yeah. Whereas on like Switch, it's like you can all games mostly.
You can just use it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, yeah. Nope, that is definitely a notable difference. Okay. Let me make my stand, okay?
Alright, go for
Let
it.
me lay it out for you guys, okay?
State your case.
So, the Wii U, it definitely had its fair share of problems, but I think if you look back on it, it does have a really solid lineup in terms of its library. I mean, you had Tropical Freeze, you had Wind Waker HD, you had Mario Maker, you had Mario Kart 8, you had Smash Brothers, you had Breath of the Wild, technically, is a part of the Wii U library.
Okay.
There was, I think, a lot of great titles that do go underrated. And I think even today, some of the most popular like Switch titles were originally Wii U titles.
Yeah.
And the gamepad, as much as it was kind of big and clunky, it was really innovative and interesting, and I think led to a lot of unique games. And I think it's honestly disappointing that we won't get any more games made in that style. Like, the gamepad was tailor-made for games like Mario Maker,
Star Fox,
and Star Fox, which was is maybe not the best use of representing the gamepad.
We should have said Nintendo Land, not Star Fox.
I gotta be honest,
Nintendo Land, true. Nintendo Land is a great game. One of the few reasons to actually still go back and play the Wii U.
Dude,
Nintendo Land is a fucking great game.
Nintendo Land, dude, is so underrated.
It's like probably one of my favorites from the Wii U, and it's a weird thing to say.
It like really is, because I remember when it came out, hearing people, they're like, yeah, it's good, but like no one like cared that much, right? But I'm like, no, dude, that's like maybe top 10 Wii U games. I don't know where.
In retrospect, it's great. That's still one of my go-to like party games. Like when you want to sit down and play something with people, bro, it's fun.
Bro, the Luigi's Mansion game in Nintendo Land is so good.
It is amazing.
Like that was.
I've had so much fun with that.
I need to ask you guys here because my memory's a little foggy for this aspect of the Wii U, but how did like the virtual console side of things compare to the Wii?
It was pretty good.
It was pretty good,
but I'm not too sure if I would say it was as good. You had the addition of DS and Wii games you could buy.
Yeah.
But I feel like there was also a lot of stuff that was taken off. Like there was no more Neo Geo, or I don't know if there was Game Gear or not.
Could I ask a question about this? On the Wii Virtual Console, can you play all those games with the Wii remote, or do you need the classic controller?
You could use the gamepad for, I think, all of them.
No. On like the original Wii.
On the original Wii, you did need that, like, you needed the Virtual Console. Like, you needed the controller, I think, for most of those games.
Yeah, I remember.
So the thing with the Wii U is you just can use the gamepad.
Which was great.
Yeah, so I'd say that kind of helps with that Virtual Console a bit.
Mm-hmm.
That you don't have to have, like, buy an extra remote, but...
Yeah, you don't have to have an accessory. But you could still use it if you wanted to, because it was also just a Wii.
That also, yes. You could also play all the Wii games. We already said that earlier.
The internet capability was improved.
It was decent, yeah.
It wasn't perfect. It never is with Nintendo, but...
Yeah, no, but we'll take what we can get. We'll take what we can get, listen.
It did have pretty good games. I will say this, though. I feel the Wii U... Okay, first of all, the elephant in the room. All the ports on the Switch.
It does make the Wii U feel less relevant now. But today, a lot of those games did originate on the Wii U, and so you gotta put some respect on the Wii U's name, is what I'm saying.
Okay, that's fair.
It's fair to say, because that is the core library for that console.
That's true. I will say this, though. I do think that a lot of the Wii U installments of game series were some of the weakest ones.
Yes, that is, I mean, we also got to talk about, 100%. There were some great games for the Wii U. There was a lot of bad games for the Wii U, too.
So, like, okay, even, like, the good ones, okay, Mario 3D World, pretty good game. I'd still argue,
it was fun.
I'd argue it's the worst 3D Mario game, other than the 3DS one.
Other than the 3DS one? It's probably true. You know what?
Yeah.
I think World is really good to appreciate now, after we've gotten, after Mario Odyssey came out, but I still don't think that it reaches the heights of Mario 64, Galaxy, or Sunshine. I don't think so.
That's the thing I'm saying. It's still a great game. I'm not gonna like say it's not, but like, it's just like I don't think it's as good as those ones. And then like,
it had the worst Mario Tennis. I remember that.
Oh yeah, that's bad.
100%. That 2016 was a sad year for the Wii U.
Color Splash.
Dude. Color Splash, please don't even remind me of that game.
Amiibo Festival, Star Fox.
Oh man, they ruined Animal Crossing on the Wii U, dude.
I will be honest.
Why?
I do have I know it's an unpopular opinion, but I don't mind Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival because
What?
because it is basically as simple of a board game as you can get.
Dude,
And I
You
didn't
don't
go
even
in with the
play the
highest
game.
expectations.
You click the amiibo and you watch.
And then you watch stuff happen. But to be fair,
Yeah.
that's how most board games work. That is how most board games work.
Also,
I think you should be something else to a video game. Than,
also Mario Party 10.
I don't know.
Mario Party 10 is terrible. That's
It
not
is
terrible.
definitely one of the worst.
The only thing that carries Mario Party 10 is the Bowser mode.
That's okay. That's fun.
I
If you ever
agree.
played that with people, it's fun.
I've made some people.
But, like,
rage
It
quit
is
with
fun.
Bowser. I've made
That
some
is
people
true.
rage quit.
Some of
It's
those
so
mini
funny.
games are total bullshit, but overall, it's really fun.
But like, I don't know. The actual main mode though, I don't know. It's like the boards are so boring and like what's the amiibo mode?
They brought back the fucking car, didn't they? Right?
the
You're all
car,
in the same
yeah.
car.
Yep.
And then there's the amiibo
whatever
maps
reason.
suck.
Yep, those were terrible. Those I think are even worse than Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival, quite frankly.
Oh, wasn't there also? Yeah, amiibo. That's a thing that was on Wii U. It started.
It started, but I think Amiibo is kind of its own thing.
Some of the Wii U games that came out though, when they came out though, like some of the Wii U games, it felt like Nintendo was neglecting what we wanted. They weren't listening at all and just putting it out.
They weren't listening back then, and that was the problem. But they took it back in the Switch era, but, let's not get too ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, like
I think we should rate
I've
it.
been proven wrong.
Okay, I'm thinking. I would honestly say top of B tier.
Top of B for me.
I'm thinking,
What would
I
you
say
put it,
bottom
Josh?
of A is where I would put it. I think it has a more memorable library and better features, and is better definitely in terms of hardware than than the N64 and the Game Boy Advance. But I can get why people would disagree with me, so I'm good with putting it in B.
Okay, here's my question: Would you say it's the same level as the Super Nintendo?
I would say definitely not. That's why I say it's
Okay.
like bottom of A.
This is then okay. Well,
I would put top B. And I'm being generous here, but
we have two.
Yep,
Okay, so
I-
you made
I
a lot of
think
you
that's
made a lot
fair.
of good, yeah.
okay, so
You made a lot of good points. I have to agree.
Switch. I mean, it's like good. It's just it's flawed. It's still good. All of these consoles are still pretty good. Like,
I mean, looking back, the Wii U is all we had, and like they offered good shit at the time.
to be fair, I'll
Yeah,
say
like-
this. This is a bold statement here. I think the Wii U had a better library of games than the PS4 until 2016.
Okay, so like going back through the years.
I can't even remember what came out for the PS4.
Bro, the PS4.
I mean, the PS4 launch year sucked. That is for sure. But
most of its best
what came out in
games are-
2015?
Most of its best games were 2016 and later.
When did Bloodborne come out? Wasn't that
That
2015?
that might have been, but that was.
But
like,
I agree. I think most came out later on. Like God of War, Spider-Man,
Spider-Man, Horizon.
Uncharted. That was all 2016 and beyond. And Horizon. Yep.
Bloodborne was 2015, but it's like that's like the only like.
Yeah, it's like really the only game of substance by that point.
Like, I'm not saying the Wii U was like even great before then. I'm just saying like I feel like it was a little better overall because he had like all the Mario.
It was
games
just
and
better
stuff.
than the competition, which is kind of sad, quite frankly.
Yeah. Okay, so the finale, right? The Switch.
Yep.
We got one left,
We were
guys.
talking about
One
the
left.
Switch.
Do we number one? Is
Is it the best? Is it the
that-
best?
Without saying too much.
I mean, like
oh man.
I
know
okay.
what, man?
I hate the hardware of it, honestly. When I say hardware, I don't mean just like the power it has. The actual like console just annoys me. like the actual like all of it really. Like it has no like space on it. It's like the controller.
The space is lacks.
the
The
controller
power is not up
sucks.
to par with what we have currently.
The controller's bad. You still have to
No, the
update.
Pro
I think the
controller's
Joy-Cons are
nice,
really
though.
quite good. I think the
Joy-Con-
Joy-Cons are quite good.
Yeah, I would disagree with you too. I think the Joy-Cons are not that bad.
Okay, fair enough. I just think they're tiny and they like drift all the time.
That
Drifting
was a
is a big
problem.
issue.
At launch, and even still now, drifting is kind of an issue.
Yeah, it is and still is. Yeah, well, I mean, was and still is. But yeah.
The thing though I think negates all that was the library though is like amazing. It has
Yeah,
so
the library-
so many games.
Especially at this
might be
point,
one of the
like
best.
nearing the end of the console's lifespan. I think that almost like most of the franchises of Nintendo's like big list franchises have gotten some form of output on this thing.
Yeah, I think from what I heard somewhere that it has the most games out of any console, other than like iPhone and like computer.
I wouldn't be surprised because there is a lot of shit that is on the eShop. That much is definitely true.
There's a lot of
but there
so
are a
many
lot
games.
of games from Nintendo and even from third parties that are like of really good quality on this system.
Yeah, I'd argue. Oh, I don't know.
There was one thing I gotta mention though, is I don't like how they approached the online capability.
Oh
Like,
yeah, actually that's
membership and
true.
everything.
Oh
Like,
no.
Online, again, it's improved. Not great, not perfect, of course, but
Mhm.
the way it's like all like set up, it's just, I don't know, man. I don't really like it that much. I like that they brought back all these old games as you pay
Yes.
for it, but I've never been a big fan of memberships, like monthly stuff, yearly stuff.
Yeah.
It's definitely annoying, for sure.
I don't even pay for it anymore. The online.
I don't blame
I
you.
do.
I don't
honestly,
play games enough to really like justify it. Like anymore.
I get
don't
it.
play games
I
that
would
often
definitely
anymore, so.
I would definitely rather do like a virtual console setup where you can pay for what you want and it's always there. But like the monthly
Yeah.
subscription stuff, it is kind of annoying because I don't think that you always feel like you're getting your money's worth. I feel like it's better now than it was when it first came out. There are so many more
Yeah.
features with the online, but it's still...
Oh yeah, when it first came out,
It felt like a ripoff, I'm not gonna lie, when you came out. It felt like an insult, paying $30 for
yeah,
a
what's
copy
going
of
on
like
here?
Tecmo Super Bowl and Super Mario Brothers 3. Like, are you kidding me?
we should have gotten like way more stuff instead of them holding back.
They're still
Like if
kinda
you're gonna
holding
make
back,
that
yeah.
a thing,
Yeah, it was pretty sad.
like at least give us like selection.
Yeah.
But yeah, it hurts because some games that came out on the Switch are like, they're like highly dependent on the online function. If
Splatoon.
not, some are actually just based around the online function, like Tetris 99, for example.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, dude, even like Splatoon, if you get rid of the multiplayer, it's like,
True.
Yeah, Splatoon, man.
dude, because the like actual story mode kind of sucks. If I'm being honest.
It's alright. It's definitely supplementary. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
it's not like
Yeah.
you remember like Halo. There's like the story mode is like really good still.
Yeah,
Right?
like the campaign and the multiplayer went like hand in hand. They were both amazing.
Yeah, they're both good. Splatoon, it's like the multiplayer's like way better.
Yep.
Um,
I'd say that's the main experience for sure.
but the Switch it's pretty good. It's got tons of good games like Smash,
Yep.
Ultimate, Mario Kart
An
Deluxe.
amazing selection of games. It has all the Wii U games, pretty much, that you need to
Yeah.
care about.
They even got
Yep.
Xenoblade
It
X.
has most of the good ones. Nintendo Land is like the one thing that's still holding out.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Just buy a Wii U from Nintendo Land, guys. That's our recommendation here.
yeah.
It's worth it.
Yeah, dude, Mario Maker 2, Zelda, like, bro.
Got two amazing Zelda games. Two perhaps of the best games of all time.
There's good Mario Party
Yeah.
again.
Mario,
Finally.
Jamboree is a great game.
Jamboree, Superstar was really good too. The first
Oh,
one was good.
All you can really say is it was good. That's it.
Yeah,
But,
it's kind of just good.
I wouldn't
But,
return to
you
it
know-
as much as Superstars or Jamboree,
Yeah.
for example.
Mm-hmm.
They brought back
You know, what were we
fucking Paper
thinking?
Mario.
That's true. That was huge.
Oh, dude, Thousand
Like,
Year
I'm
Doors
really
on here?
sa-
I
and
actually
s-
forgot about that.
The Thousand Year Door and Mario RPG.
And
Yeah,
RPG.
they revived so many franchises that were sorely missed or were just going downhill beforehand.
Brotherhood.
They brought back what we loved about them. That was a
Yep.
big thing about the Switch.
Nintendo
there's
did
even
the
Marvel-
fans a lot of favors in this
They
generation.
opened their ears.
Even Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is coming back.
True.
Like, it's-
Yep, which
it
is
back actually now,
unbelievable.
so.
You know what?
It's probably the best one, right? Being objective.
I would probably play the Switch rather than the Wii.
Yeah.
If that's like a very basic way of looking at it.
Like if I'm trying to be like objective, the three best game consoles of like ever, like not trying to be biased, is probably the Switch, the PS2, and the PS4.
I
Okay.
think that's fair.
That's probably what I'd say is like the.
I want to hear your thoughts on comparing it to the Wii, though, Josh. Both Joshes.
It's better
All right.
than the Wii.
I honestly think that most of the Wii and even honestly, well, maybe not. It's less true for GameCube, but most of the Wii games that you'd want to play are like some available to play on the Switch. Like you got
Also-
Galaxy,
yeah.
you got Skyward Sword, you got Return to Dreamland. A lot of the
Sure.
best versions of those Wii games are available on the Switch.
Mm-hmm. I'd also argue,
Yeah.
other than honestly, I like Mario Galaxy more than Odyssey, but like every other game series, there's a better version on the Switch than on the Wii. There's a like the.
I would honestly put the Switch at the top.
I think so
I
too.
agree.
What we
I
have.
It
agree.
might be recency bias,
Just from what we have.
but I
It could
think
be.
so.
Yeah,
Honestly.
I don't know if it's recency because it's like how long, it's been out forever.
Well, it's been
now.
out for a while now, too, yeah.
It has been out for a while now.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, right. It makes
I'm not
sense.
mad at that at all, I would say.
Yeah, nope. I like it. I'm
Like
good.
I don't think
Okay.
it's not perfect.
I
right,
thought
but-
maybe we were going to change some things after we were done, but I'm looking at it now and I feel like it's pretty rock solid.
I like it too.
I think so
sense.
too. I think
Each
that
have-
these placements are fair.
I like how they each have.
I like how it actually ended up kind of even.
Seats perfect.
Except for the virtual console, but each tier has 3.
Virtual console or
Yeah.
boy almost doesn't even count. There we go.
I think it is.
No, we need a new tier, godlike. Just for Virtual Boy.
Yeah.
This makes sense to me.
Yeah, I'm happy with it.
What were you going to say, Josh?
I was going to say, I think that they're. For the record, I don't think any Nintendo console is really bad except for the Virtual Boy. Everything else is good. It's just a matter of finding out how they stack up against each other.
Yeah.
And I think
yeah.
that this is a fair enough standing.
I think so too. I mean, the old school people might get mad, but like, it's okay. You can't make everyone happy.
Yeah, no, that's how
I
it
mean,
is.
hey, I grew up with a lot of the old school consoles, though, too, so I'm being as fair as I can while, using my preferences. And I'd say this is
100%.
a good list of
Yeah.
rated games here. Consoles, I mean.
Okay, I have a real question here. Did anyone think anything other than the Switch was gonna be the top spot?
Knowing you
I
guys, I'm
kinda-
surprised that it wasn't the GameCube.
Nah, I mean,
No,
part of me
'cause-
wants to put it there, but Switch is just better. I gotta be real with you.
Hey, I'm not disagreeing. You remember a minute ago I said it was like the objective. I'd put that in like PS2 or whatever, but I mean, look, if it was up to me, I'd put GameCube as number 1. But like, I'm also trying to be fair, so
Yeah.
100%.
If we had to, if we had to compare them, this is a good, fair list.
all
All
right.
right, guys.
I
Well,
think
this
so.
this went on longer than I thought it would, but
Oh, yeah.
we definitely did
It's
this
been a long
justice.
episode.
Yeah, if you've gotten to this point, guys, subscribe and
Yeah.
like the video and share with your grandma.
She
needs to
will know
watch
what this is. She'll know what we're talking about, of course.
Mario.
Grandma loved Nintendo DS.
Okay, all right. So I think that
Wasn't there that grandma that played Animal Crossing on New Leaf for 800
That is
hours
true.
or something?
oh my
That
God,
is
about
true.
I remember that.
All right. Anyways, I guess this wraps up the video, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say.
Right.
Yeah, this has been the Nintendo Tier List podcast wrapped up fully.
Give us your
Um,
thoughts in your own tier list. In the
Yes,
comments.
share your thoughts down below. There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot that has been talked about, so a lot to give your thoughts on.
Yep.
As for us, we will catch you next week probably, if nothing pops up, of course. We've been doing these weekly, it seems, as of the past 2 episodes. So I don't think we have anything planned to talk about, but we will find something to talk about.
Yeah.
And we'll catch you next time on the next episode. So thank you very much for listening, everybody. And we'll see you next time.